Good morning, welcome to the Old Fashioned Health Show. My name is Alvin, I'm your host for today, and today we're going to be talking about living with sickle cell. On our show today we have a special guest, Trinity Clark, and we have his mother here with us, Miss Clark. So sit back and enjoy. So Trinity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming.
I'm glad to be here.
Great to have you here. So tell us a little bit about sickle cell and how it affects you on like a daily
basis. Well, sickle cell is basically a mutation of your cells, and basically what it affects is your hemoglobin in the cell. And the hemoglobin basically is it's the component in your cells that carry the oxygen throughout your body.
Okay.
And what the difference between a regular cell and a sickle cell is that, like, the regular cell is shaped like an oval shape,
Okay.
and then the sickle cell is shaped like a crescent moon that has jagged edges.
Right.
So like it carries less oxygen throughout your body. So that's what it pretty much is.
Okay. Okay. So do you find yourself is it with sickle cell? Is it like you find yourself constantly in pain, or what does it do?
Well, I mean, there's a difference between having the full-blown disease,
Okay.
and having the sickle cell trait.
Okay.
And with me, I have sickle beta thal, and what that means is that the beta gene in my cells is a little bit less than what you would regularly have in your cells.
Okay.
So that means that I carry less oxygen
Okay.
to my body.
Okay.
So like the pain doesn't really flare up like throughout the whole day, but like it does, hit you. But most of the time, like during like the nighttime,
Right.
or it might hit you in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Like it just really depends on your body.
Okay.
So it does affect you, but you can't. But you need to have the mindset is that I'm not going to let it set me back for the
Right.
day.
Right.
So it's all about having positive energy and believing that you can overcome.
Okay.
So that's what it pretty much is.
So Miss Clark, you got to be really proud of him.
I am. I really, really am.
Yeah, 'cause he seems like he's really strong and focused and stuff. So I mean, how do you deal with him having sickle cell? What do you do to?
Well,
keep
I
him
can
encouraged?
say, being that I was very young when I had him, I was 15, 16 years old when I had him, and his life expectancy at that time, the doctors were saying was 5 years old,
Okay.
that he was just going to live to be 5, based on the fact that he had a rare form of sickle cell.
Okay.
And a lot of people are not aware that there are 14 different types of sickle cell that you can actually have. And that there, in the African American community, there's at least a 25% chance that you're going to carry the trait or disease. That's just your statistic when you're born, period.
Okay.
That's how it can happen. So being that he is about to be 21 in February,
Okay.
he is my miracle. And that's just, I'm a proud mama all day, every day, and I
Okay.
love to tell his testimony throughout the day.
Okay.
So I'm a very proud mama. And the fact that he's just so strong in his faith
Okay.
is always amazing to me.
Okay.
And his faith, I really truly believe, has gotten him to this point in his life.
Okay. So now, what are your eating habits like? I mean, what's nutrition?
Well, for me, like I have like a very balanced palate.
Okay.
I eat like a lot of vegetables, greens, broccoli,
Okay.
asparagus, a lot of salads, and I drink, tons of water. What the doctors tell you is that like a normal person is supposed to drink 8 cups of water a day,
Okay.
but when you have sickle cell, you need to double that, so about 16 cups a day. So like I use the bathroom like a little bit more than the average person.
Okay.
It's because I consume like 6 water bottles, and that's the thing with sickle cell, is that you're supposed to keep your body, very, fluid,
Okay.
hydrated.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean, it's all about just eating right,
Okay.
eating healthy.
So now, do you cook special? Did you cook a special way or anything for him, or?
Well, I have to say
Now, he
that
seems to be independent. He seems like he cook most of his own food. On his own.
actually he's a great cook, by the way. He cooks for me, but I don't feel good.
Okay.
But actually, I just try to make sure that he has a lot of greens in his diet.
Okay.
I make sure that we have chlorophyll
Okay.
at the house, and he
Okay.
just puts it in his water bottles. I try to make sure that he has vegetables in all of his meals.
Okay.
Even breakfast.
Okay.
He's eating some kale chips, or he's doing some spinach omelet.
Right.
We just try to make sure that that's very available to him.
Okay.
However he wants to consume it. Whether or not he does it in a smoothie, he loves to do smoothies.
Okay.
And put kale and spinach and things like that into
Okay.
his smoothie. So it works well. We had to. I say this, that introducing things early on into his life has made him a very good, healthy eater.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, but it was something that we introduced early on.
Okay.
So, I have to say this. He will tell me if I'm slipping on my pimping, he will say, "Mommy, you need to make some greens. I'm ready for some greens, need some spinach, I need a home cooked meal."
Right,
But
yeah.
it's because we introduced
Okay.
those healthy eating habits.
That is really good. I actually discovered Trinity because of his aunt.
Mm-hmm.
We was in food, good. I think it's Good Nutrition.
And she's
Yeah.
a very good nutritionist.
Yes.
Like she has,
Amazing.
supplied me with chlorophyll, there's aloe vera, juice, and she's given me, there's good health tips about, if you make smoothies, I'm as good to have like a cup of fruit, and then you put like 2 drops of chlorophyll, in there. So it's just, like 2 little,
Right.
drops, or like a teaspoon
Right.
of chlorophyll put in the smoothie, and
Right.
you put some apples or pineapples,
Right.
and also, which is a great vegetable, is a turmeric.
Okay.
It's an Indian spice, and what that spice does, that it cuts down on your inflammation.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
a very good thing, to eat. And I just actually made spaghetti last night, and I
You
put
made
that in there.
Yes.
I mean, like
He
I
makes spaghetti. Yes, he
How
does.
was it?
It was amazing.
Good.
I'm telling you, he's an awesome cook. I can say this, he always had an interest in what he was putting in his body,
Okay.
so I always had him in the kitchen.
Okay.
And all of our family encourages all of our children in our family, all nieces, to come in the kitchen so you can learn about what you like and what you're putting into your
Right.
food, so that you can season accordingly. If you like something that Auntie Moni, they call me Auntie Moni, Auntie Moni's making, okay, well, Auntie Moni will bring you in the kitchen so you can learn how to make that yourself.
The kitchen, as you can see, is just my favorite place to be. If you can always
yeah.
just have a good conversation in the kitchen.
Yes.
You can
Yes,
find
sir.
some healing in the kitchen. You can
Exactly.
in the kitchen. So let me ask you, how active are you on a day-to-day basis? What do you do?
Well, like I'm pretty active. Like I coach youth football.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I actually coach my little brother's, football team, and I've been coaching for about seven years.
Okay.
Because I love, giving back and giving kids the opportunity that I didn't have. It's because I was like a really, good, football player.
Right.
Well, like sports in general.
Okay.
But having sickle cell has limited me, from pursuing, my goals.
Okay.
But like I love giving back, and I love seeing children have the opportunity and enjoy what they, love to do.
Okay.
When I coach football, like I'm very hands-on, so I run the drills and I, do the drop back, quarterback,
Right,
like
right.
I do, like I'm very active,
Right.
and I love playing basketball with my younger brother,
Okay.
and he's very active. He keeps me going.
Okay.
He's an inspiration to me. It's because I love seeing how he's so jovial, and
Right.
he's always hyper, and he's always active,
Right.
and I love
Yeah.
that.
But I can say this, even when he is going through his crisis, and before he gets to the point that he even might have to go and be in the hospital, I, as a parent, started making him do basic things. No, you're going to get up and take out the trash.
Okay.
And I know, and some people think that's cruel,
Right.
but he still needs to get up and stimulate that body.
That's
He needs to
exactly
get up
right.
and stimulate his muscles.
Right.
So get up, walk the dog. That's
Okay.
right, you're getting up and walking the dog. I know you're in pain right now, and it seems cruel, but you still need to get up and move. And we learned this in some of the social groups at the hospital.
Okay.
That you still have to stimulate the body. Don't allow them to get in a rut and just give up,
Right,
because
right.
that's what you tend to do when you're in that amount of pain. You just want to sit and just not move and just breathe. But you need to get oxygen to your body. And how do you do that? You're getting your heart moving, you're getting your blood pumping.
Right.
That's the things that you still need to do. You got to move.
I'm sure you have to be a Falcons fan, right?
Oh yes, sir.
Okay.
I love the Dirty Birds.
Not feeling real
Braves.
good right now since they
Well,
lost.
yeah, but Well, it's a long season, but we have a ways to go. But I like that process and I like the mindset of how these Falcons are playing this year.
Okay, all right. So when we come back, we're going to talk to you about the medicines and medications and stuff that you're taking right now, and what you're doing to, whether you're taking the medicine, are you doing a holistic way, or exactly what are you doing with your medicine. All right?
Sounds like a
We'll be
plan.
right back. Okay, welcome back. So, we're going to talk to Trinity about the different types of medications and things like that that you may take. Are you doing a holistic approach? And besides the fact that you cook real well for yourself and for your mother, I want you to tell me about what kind of medications, what are you doing as far as that's concerned?
Well, like for me, like how you don't take like the hard medicines as like the morphines or the oxycodones or the hydrocodones or the tramadols or different medicines that can help you with pain, because I do not like the feeling of being doped up and just feeling lousy.
Right.
It's because when you take those medicines, like you really can't control yourself and you really can't help yourself really. It's because you're all in like a daze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I do take every day is some ibuprofen. When you have sickle cell, like you're not always in pain, but like you do have pain.
Right.
It's not very severe pain.
Okay.
But like it's all about like your mindset.
Okay.
If you're at work, or you may have to do stuff at a slower pace.
Okay.
Than what normal, like your normal coworkers
Okay.
can do. So it's all about you just maintaining, your daily grind and your daily, hustle.
Okay.
Like I said before, is that like I, drink smoothies in the day. It's all about starting out your day, right. So I drink my smoothies in the morning and I eat a very good breakfast.
Okay.
It's because the thing that you want to do, it's all about eating right. So like the first meal of your day, is supposed to be your biggest meal, and that's your breakfast.
Okay.
And then the second meal is your lunch,
Okay.
and then your smallest meal is at dinner time.
Okay.
So it's all about just eating right.
Instead of taking a whole bunch of medicine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Tim, you mentioned talking about the medicine thing earlier.
Well, because he was diagnosed almost at birth, of course, they tell you he'll be on penicillin all of his life, he'll be on folic acid, and then there's the cocktail mix of the morphine, the oxycodone, the hydrocodone. Those are things that are introduced very early on.
Okay.
When you have a sickle cell crisis.
Right.
It's their standard practice. And it's just kind of, like I said, it's a cocktail mix.
Okay.
And then you try to balance it out.
Okay.
Normally what happens is that you kind of do a pain sliding scale.
Okay.
You normally start out with just your basic ibuprofen,
Right.
okay? And then as your pain level progresses, gets to the 3s and the 4s,
Right.
you go ahead and introduce like your oxycodone or your hydrocodone.
Right.
And then once you get to that top level is when you have to introduce your morphine.
Okay.
And this is pretty much standard practice of medications that you have in your home when you have a child who has sickle cell.
But now you've not practiced. He's not taking all his medicine.
No, we don't do that. I have to say that after he had his gallbladder and his spleen removed when he was 8 years old,
Okay.
we pretty much stopped going to those go-to drugs.
Okay.
We had to go through our own finding out that what worked better for us.
Okay.
And it was one of those times where you're seeing your child heavily medicated and you're struggling as a parent just to get them in and out the shower.
Right.
And they're just so lethargically in this coma of medication.
Right.
And I had to make that decision. Is this something that we want to continue on? Because with these cocktails of drugs, kids tend to get addicted to
Wow.
the fade out, the days of these medications. And a lot of children with sickle cell tend to turn to harder drugs because they're always going to be chasing that high that they are given. These medications are given out so easily, these prescriptions, you wouldn't believe. I mean, and then people, because you're a parent and you're having that sympathy, empathy factor, and you don't want to see your child in pain, you hand it to them. You want to ease their pain, and that's the first thing that your mind tells you to do is
Right.
give them that medication. But the after effect, the during effect,
Right.
is horrible for your child. So when he had his gallbladder and his spleen taken out, we went more or less to a holistic
Okay.
way of life for him.
Okay.
And he actually did so much better. He went 5 years without a sickle cell crisis.
Really?
5 years
5 years.
without a sickle cell crisis. And before that, we were having blood transfusions. He was on all types of medication. 5 years, nothing. Just by changing his diet and taking him to a more holistic.
So y'all know
Lifestyle.
that it's about what you
It's,
eat.
it's
about what you
amazing.
eat.
And
Wow.
it really is. I mean, it transitioned him. He went from a child who couldn't play sports and be around other children
Right.
to being more active and being able to coach football and being able to live what's so-called a normal life versus a life that is spent in the hospital and around doctors all the time.
So let me ask you, when you made the transition from going from a whole bunch of medicines to more of a holistic eating nutritionally better, how long before you saw an actual, was it like a couple of weeks or a month or so before you saw
No,
that
it was
difference?
definitely a slow progress for him
Okay.
because you have to think about it. He's had all these medications in
Right.
his systems
Mhm.
for 8-9 years. So, and then also getting his mindset that he doesn't have to always take that painkiller. Let's find another alternate way,
Okay.
whether it's you doing meditation
Okay.
to get your mind off your
Okay.
pain,
Listening to music,
Listening to
or
music,
watching
playing-
TV, or just
Exactly.
talking to someone
Doing video
else.
games.
It's all about
video game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of music you listen to?
Well, I can listen to all types
Al
of music.
Green.
All types. Soul music, country, R&B, hip hop.
Yeah, he's very eclectic.
Yeah.
So we know that he is going to have these struggles.
Right.
Okay, but what are we going to do as an alternate versus just popping pills into
All the
him?
time.
all
So
the
you're not
time?
saying don't take any medicine.
No, I'm
That's-
not
saying
that.
Yeah, because there's some situation where you do need some
Exactly,
medicine.
and you need to go
It's
to
all
the
about
hospital.
moderation.
I
Right,
got you.
It's all
exactly.
about moderation.
Mhm.
How you do stuff.
So taking less medicine, eating nutritionally better,
Right.
is a good thing.
And being active.
And being
And being
active.
active.
And being active.
So how was it for you when you were in school?
With me, well, like in school, in school, I didn't, really have powers down unless when I got sick.
Okay.
And there were points in school where I would miss, there's 2 weeks in the hospital,
Okay.
but it's dealing with like a sickle cell crisis,
Mhm.
and it's all about keeping your teachers informed. One semester I missed 30 days, and that's just in one semester. That's over 3 months,
Right.
and I missed total in my career almost over 200 days of school in my high school career.
Mhm.
But I have stayed on it, with my parents, always, telling me is that you have to do the hard stuff to get where you want to be
Right,
in
right,
life.
right.
Nothing is given to you,
Right.
and that's the thing is that
Mhm.
it is that you have to have a mindset of I can accomplish these goals, but I have to work for it.
Right.
I've had the spleen removed. I've had blood transfusions. I have missed school. I've had surgeries, gallbladder,
Right.
20 gallstones.
Wow.
I've had all these things. I've been in comas. I've had everything that you could think of. Being with a sickle cell person, I have had that. But as Jesus that has been in my life, that I really believe that He has kept me here, and that He has a plan for me. And He has a plan for each and every one of us. Like there's always a plan in place, and it's all about you doing the work and you still being diligent.
Wow.
I'm just all about having faith in whatever you believe in.
Okay.
So it's all about you maintaining yourself and just always having the mindset, I'm going to get this work done.
Well,
Pretty
I
much
do
all it
want
is.
to kind of talk about what his experience was in school because being that we knew that he had sickle cell very early on, all the school systems have educational IEPs, okay? Which is basically where they put steps in place in order for him to be protected,
Okay.
being that he is going to miss a lot of portions of school
Right,
and
right.
he's going to need possible assistance when he's in class or assistance in maybe having a teacher come to the house.
Right.
So you set those goals up early on. Okay. Sometimes you need them and sometimes you don't.
Right.
We were very fortunate where we went through 5 years where he didn't need to tap into those resources,
Right.
but we still had his educational IEP in place,
Right.
so that when he did miss those long bouts of days,
Right.
it wasn't going to be something that was going to set him back from not graduating on time. And a lot of parents don't stay as diligent as they need to
Right.
and make themselves known in school. It's not that you want to make your child be a sympathetic pity.
Right.
That's not it. But I need to educate you on what my child is going to go through
Right.
in your school year.
Right.
So every school year, I would sit down with all his teachers and say, hey, this is my son.
Right.
Do not treat him any differently. He wants to be completely normal in your classroom. He will let you know if he is struggling. He will say, I need to be excused. I need to get another cup of water. I need to have my bottle of water in class.
You need to use the restroom.
Might have to go to the restroom more often.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and let you know that these are signs that he may not be feeling well.
Right.
If he's going to miss a day in class, I'm going to email you. I'm going to give you a call and let you know. Can you send that work? There was many times that he was in the hospital. Guess what? He was doing his homework.
Yeah.
Okay? He was doing his homework. Whether he liked me or not,
Right.
he was doing his homework. And the great part about Children's Hospital is that they had teachers on staff that would come in and help him with his homework.
He sounds like he has an excellent support team. He has an
He has
excellent
an awesome.
You have an
I do.
excellent
An
support
awesome
team.
support
And I'm sure the school system would love to have a lot more parents like you. They would love to have a lot more parents with you. You know, that
I mean,
are
we
active.
definitely have had our struggles and our setbacks as well.
Right.
I mean, to be honest with you, with him even missing school and us even having the educational IEP, I've had defects called on me about him missing school, even though they already know that he has sickle cell.
Wow.
And he's going to miss days out of school. And this is one of the things that set him back. He wasn't even able to get his driver's license at 16 because he missed so many days out of school. Even though you know that he has a chronic illness and he is going to miss days, they still penalized him and he did not get his driver's license until after he graduated.
I hope you all listen to this. Maybe we can get some changes in place.
Exactly.
You know, you never know.
Exactly.
You need to talk to your school board. Mm-hmm.
I am very, very happy you all came. You have been, this is a wealth of knowledge. I knew very little about sickle cell. I just knew that it was more prevalent in minority communities.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Mhm.
So this has been very enlightening. Let me ask you, what's your plans? You know, what your plans?
Well, actually, like I always wanted to become a hematologist. You know, and what a hematologist does is basically like the study of blood. You know,
Okay.
so that's dealing with the cancers, leukemias, the sickle cells. You know, everything that deals with your cells
Okay.
in your body. So that's my dream. You know,
Okay.
you know, and I've always had that passion.
Okay.
You know, I've always had that passion of helping other people,
Okay.
helping others.
Mhm.
So that's my goal.
Right,
You know,
and
that's what I
educating.
like
Our
to do.
family does quite a lot in the community. My stepdad, Reginald Clark, he got his kidney after 8 years of being
On dialysis.
on the dialysis.
And he's had
It took him 8
diabetes, what,
years.
30 years?
He's had diabetes for 30 years. He's overcome neuropathy.
Wow.
He's overcome kidney failure, vision loss, and all of this is because he lives a holistic lifestyle.
Holistic. Y'all hear that?
Holistic lifestyle.
Okay. All right.
He
All right.
is a vegetarian, and he has come so far in his life. And you would never look at him and know his struggle. Like you would just never know that he has been through so much. But it's because he has changed over, and he's now 64,
Wow.
and he's been living with diabetes for 30 years.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. And holistic.
Holistic.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that once you start it, keep it up,
Okay.
and it will make a true change in your life. It really
Okay.
will.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, guys, thank you so very much for coming out. And you know, I don't have Falcons tickets for you, but we did get you a gift. And
Yes,
so I got you a little gift here. Just
Okay.
stand here, and we want to give you a little something. And this is actually from one of the sponsors of the show, Rowdy Renaissance. He has a new clothing line out, so we got this gift for you.
Oh,
from him.
Okay, cool.
And
Thank you.
t-shirt stuff. And for you and your mother, tickets to the Botanical Garden.
Oh, Oh, wonderful.
Thank
Thank
For
you.
both of you all. That's for both of you all to go.
Thank you.
And
Thank
take
you.
care of everything.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is Alvin again with Old Fashioned Health. Good health inside and out. Have a great day.